call this number.
I know what to do now.
Alright folks, we're down here. Right there's one crappie. We wasn't sure we was going to get on them too quick, but we're back down here at Watch Bar and then got two in the live well and one nice one right there. I got Brad with me today. Down here it's pretty windy. We're going to see if we can stay on them out here. Anyway, wish Steve could have been with us, but he had some other things he had to do, so fellas, just bear with us a while and we'll catch a few of these crappie, I hope. Alright, folks. There's another one. Keep on. We might get a mess of crappie there for Brad. Too bad Steve ain't with us, but he says remember the sponsors. Let's go fishing.
Hit like you should.
Hit like you should. 40-something foot there.
Yeah.
We'll stay in here after them. Maybe we'll find a mess before the day's over with.
Okay.
Carol might feed you a few of them. Let's go fishing. Alright, folks, looks like Brad's found another little crappie there. Sounds good, Brad. We keep on. We get a mess of them before the day's over with. Mine's hung up here. Alright. Dang sunshine and wind making it rough. We'll stay after them, though. Okay, folks, looks like Brad found him another crappie there. You keep on, Brad, and putting them minnows to them. We get a mess of them before it's over with.
That little bird.
Fattens, yeah. They're about 45 foot. Yep. Well, all I can say is too bad Steve ain't here to have in on the fun. All right, folks, we'll be back with another in a minute. One more for the frying pan. Yeah. One more for the frying pan.
Old Steve ain't here.
Right, Brad's got one here. See what he's got here. Uh-oh, he got a whiskers. All right. Hey, got to get a few of them too. He's a keeper though. He's as big as them others. He's a keeper. Alright, Brad found another one there. He's a little small too. You may have to move out somewhere else, find some bigger crappie. I think he'll eat too. You'll have to measure him to see. Alright, we're going to get after him.
Better, Mike.
Alright, Brad, looks like a nice one there. A little better there.
Yeah, you made a good move there.
Made a good move.
Made a good move.
Alright. We're getting up there. Stay after. That's it, Brad. He's down there about 45 foot. Stay after. Might get you something to eat before the day's over with. Good. That reason I catfish one, I think he's a crappie. crappie. He got a few shoulders on him. Yeah. Got some shoulders on him. Oh, man. That agrees the skillet there. Hey, Carol's gonna have a hard time cleaning all these. All right, let's see what Brad's got here. Hooked into a nice one, yeah. That's a nice one, Brad. Yes, sir. We'll take all them all we can get. My goodness. Yeah. Steve, you should have been down here, I'm telling you. Yes. Got a great big one in his mouth there already. Big shad. Man alive. We're going to have some good eating out of this bunch. Remember the sponsors, and let's go fishing. All right. There's another nice eater. Boy, he slammed on it pretty good, too. He wanted that manner. All right. Another nice crappie, Brad. Yes, sir. Another nice crappie. And, we like it. Yes, sir, we like it. Good mess of crappie. Yes, sir. Yeah, we sure do like it. Behold here, Brad. Got a few in it anyway. I'd say one thing. Them minnows are dynamite on them crappie. They like them. Too bad Steve ain't down here with us. Know what he'd say, let's go fishing. We went fishing, but you ain't here. All right. We'll take that. We'll try to get some more. All right. Good evening, folks. I'm Mike Cox, not Steve Cox. I'm going to be your host tonight. Steve's not here. Wished he was, but I ain't that good at talking, but do want to say hello to Dad and tell you that me and Brad was on that film was crappie fishing a couple of weeks ago, and Steve decided to show the one me and him made last week, but that was the week before when me and Brad was down there. And you've seen us catching them crappie out there 40 to 47 foot, and we had a good day. And like I say, we was using the minnows and the drop straight down with a 3/4 ounce sinker on it, and find that structure out there was the whole key to it. A lot of good crappie. I think we ended up with 18 nice ones there. Anyway, there was a lot of things he's wanting me to talk about tonight, but main thing I was wanting to tell you was he told me that they found out that TVA on the caller we had last week, TVA was the one that closes the ramp there at the Washington Bridge, they call it, one going to Decatur down there on Chickamauga. TVA was putting rock up and down the river banks there, and they're the ones that closed that ramp down. The callers watching was wanting some information on that. Another thing we had questions on with the game and fish people was people called in about the measuring boards and stuff and what they used. I found out by getting the micrometer out that not all these things is exactly equal depending on what you're using. Most of these on this golden rule was about 2 thousandths over. And when I went to this crappie board here,
it was about 2/1000 under. So that's about 4/1000 on every inch that you get. When I checked this little old wooden rule, it was dead on. And you can see the difference when you stick them into these measuring boards and you come up and you're 16th or so under or 16th or so over. So I can see the conflict on some of that. And you might want to check what you're measuring with, but according to the officers here we had last week, he said if you had a legal ruler of some type there that you're measuring with besides something homemade, that he would use what you're using. So make sure there wasn't no disagreement with that, but he does use the golden rule. So if any of you are using these new quick deals like this for the crappie, which I like it pretty well because it holds him still for you and just sweep the tail around and see if he's going to make the 10-inch mark and throw him back, if you don't. But anyway, I'm here by myself tonight, and I hope that you'll bear with me, because I ain't got all that much to say. Never have. I ain't a big talker. And, maybe we can muddle through this thing. So if any of you want to call and find something to talk about as far as fishing, you have to call me and let me know. Did want to pass on about the East Tennessee Sportsman Society there, Willie Word and them. Want to stay after that and try to get as many people in that as we can, so we'll have a voice when it comes to talking to TVA or TWRA. And we'll go back to that fishing film, talk about it a little more, I guess. That structure, if you've seen it, of course I had to prove it to Steve when I took him back down there that there was plenty of structure out there in that depth of water. He didn't think there was. If you've seen it on that scanner and the depth finder, and he still was kind of skeptical of it till he went to trying to crank up them crappie, and he'd hang up. When he'd get them halfway to the boat, he'd hang up in the limbs and stuff of the trees. There's a lot of structure in that lake down there, but I found most of it probably from Thief Neck down, but there's still some from Thief Neck back up, but it's just harder to find it. I guess it was because of the way the river was before they backed it up. But anyway, that's where them crappies at. But he told me that he run into somebody up there at Ladd Landing a few days earlier that was catching crappie in 3 foot of water, and my uncle was telling me that he's up there in Emory catching them 3 foot deep, and they're fishing grubs, and, tubes, and little crappie baits like that under the floater there, just casting, and some of them's are trolling. I seen 3 or 4 boats down there the other day when I went by. So evidently there's something going on there, but the water was pretty dingy there in the Emory, where down there in Blue Springs area, below Thief Neck there, seemed to be clearing up. And I think that's got a lot to do with the fish down there, because we're catching a lot more than what we did 3 or 4 weeks ago when it was muddy. I think the clearer that water gets, the better you can do down there. But I can't get Steve to answer me to tell me what them fish is, them crappies doing, whether they see that minnow down there at 45 feet, whether they smell that minnow, or whether they can feel it, or what it is about them. But they sure find them down there, and they find them shad too, because the biggest majority of the crappie that we caught there, me and Brad, you look down in their throat and they'd be gorged to death with shad minnows. And you see balls of shad on the depth finder down there. So evidently they can survive pretty good down there in 45 foot of water. If you get an opportunity, I'd say go down there and try them. There's some awful good fishing down there. And crappie sure taste pretty good. So anyway, just want to call in and talk about the crappie fishing. We'll do that. And hopefully Steve will get back here next week and give us a lot more to report on. Anyway, I told him that I'd remind people of the fishing schedules that's coming up, and I know everybody's getting ready for that. And need to go by and see some of these sponsors if you can, especially if you want to get ready for fishing season. You probably ought to get down to Glenn's there and let him check that motor and stuff out for you and make sure you're ready for the fishing season, because it's going to be on us here. You ain't got but a few more weeks these tournaments start happening. I know you'll want to be ready. You don't want to get out there and have motor trouble to start off with. That's a pretty bad feeling when you do that. I know we went over one year, it's been several years ago, fished the Dogwood Arts tournament that they had down there at the canal, and it seemed like must have been 15 or 20 boats it took off that had trouble out of about 300 or 400 of us that was in it. They just go out there and you hear them blow up and shut down and stuff, where they let them set all winter and stopped up the carburetors and different things, and puts going out, and there's a lot of them had to get towed in that day. So that's a good deal to good thing to do is to get that boat checked out before you start using it, so you don't have no trouble. And everybody knows it's had any trouble before, how expensive it is to get a power head replaced or rebuilt, or replace a lower unit or something. Besides, you miss out on all that time of fishing, waiting on that to get done. So anyway, Herschel, you got any commercial breaks you want to show us there for a while?
The Oak Ridge Rowing Association is a local nonprofit organization. Its membership includes rowers and rowing enthusiasts whose goal is to promote the sport of rowing. The boathouse and its beautiful venue located on Melton Hill Lake attracts tens of thousands of rowers every year from all across the globe. Aura teaches a variety of classes including Learn to Row, high school, and master's programs. With something for everyone ages 12 to 112, Aura encourages you to come try this awesome sport today.
When kids in Rockwood are hungry, they come to Kids Cafe. Every Monday from 5 to 6:30 at Rockwood Housing Authority. Kids Cafe offers food and friendship for kids aged 3 to 18. Kids Cafe always needs volunteers to provide, prepare, and serve meals. If your community group, church, or neighborhood organization is interested in helping feed Rockwood's children by providing on-site food preparation, serving, or making a cash donation, please call Jennifer Watson at 865-354-9841. The doors are open at Kids Cafe, Mondays from 5 to 6:30 at Rockwood Housing Authority, 320 Carpenter Street, just off North Chamberlain Avenue.
Okay, Glenn.
We've got a new line of Otis Dominator side-by-sides. I'd like to show you a few features. These things come equipped, not stripped like some of the other brands. So let's start with the front here. It comes with a nice bumper guard. It comes with a winch front and back.
Yes, sir.
It has lights here. It has lights here. It has a light on top. It's well lit. It has 4-inch tires, front and back. It's a water-cooled 800cc V-twin with Delphi ignition system, fuel injectors, and computer controls. The seats adjust up and back. The doors close like a Cadillac. course, it has tops, it has windshields, it has a dump bed like we see in the back.
A dump bed, man.
And of course, it shows a trailer hitch. We're going to be thousands less and twice as much equipment.
You get what you're paying for, Glenn, basically.
Well, you're getting more than you're paying for here. It has disc brakes all the way around, so it's a fine unit. Like everybody come down and show them to you. We've got 2 doors, should be here this week. So come down and let's have a little display.
All right, Glenn. I tell you what, it is a fine-looking machine, and that looks really great. Guys, it really does. Tailgate on the dump bed. Looks really great, sure does. All right. We're just kind of walking around getting some little bit of film on all the features.
We'll show them how the dump bed goes back down.
Yeah.
It has a hydraulic dump system. Electric over hydraulic dump bed.
And I tell you what, it's a nice looking machine. If I knew, if I was into that kind of thing, that'd be what I'd be looking for.
Well, our customers, they either fish.
I agree with you.
They either fish or hunt.
That's right. There you go.
That's probably the biggest percentile of it.
I agree 100%, man. That's a nice looking machine. Sure is. All right, folks, remember that now. Get by Reynolds Racing and Marine. Check this 4-wheeler out, and I guess it's a utility vehicle.
It's a side-by-side utility. Yes,
it's a side-by-side utility vehicle, and man, it is nice. And get by here and check this thing out, and let Glenn know what you think about it.
My husband Hank, he taught me to live like there's no tomorrow, and we did it all. European vacations, expensive cars, the best restaurants. Life was great till he died. Now there are no tomorrows for Hank, but they're all I've got, because we never saved a dime.
Country Fresh Foods. You may not know the name, but you definitely know the taste. Our homemade fudge is shipped all over the country. Its quality is unmatched, and it's made right here in Oliver Springs. But you don't have to travel all over to enjoy it. You can get it right here at our retail store, Pamela Ann's Fudge, Candy, and Gifts. The highest quality fudge in a countless variety of flavors. And we also carry a variety of candy and unique gifts for you to enjoy. Come enjoy the taste you have loved for years at Pamela Ann's Fudge, Candy, and Gifts in Oliver Springs, a division of Country Fresh Foods.
All right, folks, we're back. We was talking there about them new 4-wheelers that side-by-sides, I guess you'd call them, sport utility vehicles there that Glenn's got in there. We seen on that commercial there. Man, that's really a nice machine, I'm telling you. Surprised me how good they look, equipment they got and everything on it. We got a caller here. I guess we'll answer him there. Is it okay now, Herschel? Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
This is Ed Dog.
Hey, Ed. How we doing, neighbor?
Well, I was going to tell you, I figured out why they had to raise up the license amounts.
Yes. Yeah. Guess to give them guys something to eat, wouldn't it?
So they can restock Watts Bar Lake down there, restock them with crappie, because you're catching them all.
Yeah, well, I don't know about catching them all, because it seems like I lose more than I catch, but they sure is plenty of them in there, and more of their nice ones, too.
Yeah. I'm surprised you hadn't hooked no big largemouth and smallmouth down there, around deep as they are.
Yeah, it surprised us, too. They keep saying that, wonder where they're at. I said, they're probably under a tree somewhere resting for the winter.
Well, I was just going to call you and bug you a little bit. I'll holler at you later.
All right, Ed. I appreciate you hollering at me, buddy.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Okay. Like I say, folks, it's them crappies there. all you got to do is just go down there and get them. I think my uncle there, I was telling you about, took him down there the other day, and we had a hard time finding some minnows, and found them down there next to Caney Creek, and decided, well, it's so late in the day, we'll just go ahead and put in here at Caney Creek. And he kept telling me about all the crappie he was catching up in Emory, and I said, well, we'll see what they're doing down here. So we put in Caney Creek and run across the lake, fished a couple of spots, and eased back up the lake on a couple other spots. And I think I seen one boat out there, might have been catfishing. He was right out in the middle of the channel, had about 20 rods out, looked like. But anyway, we scooted around there and found some structure out there and fished in it. Never got the first strike. And, worked our way back down to Caney Creek. Still didn't find nothing. Started down the lake below Caney Creek, and I think caught one crappie before I went through the cut through there at Thief Neck. And once we got through the cut through on the other side over there and got out there in the deeper water, found some structure. And as soon as we found the structure, we started catching crappie. And, I think we brought home 16 good crappie, which was real good for probably a half a day's fishing. We ended up probably down Bayside, I'd say, somewhere in that area in there fishing. And, but there was some nice crappie, and they were still in the same spots. He didn't think much about that crappie fishing that deep till he went to catching them, and I think I changed his mind a little bit. But, I'd soon catch them in 3 foot of water too. It's a lot quicker if they're there. But seemed to me like the winter time they like to get out there deep and hold around that structure. And, sometimes it's rough to fish out there. The current was pretty bad up the river. You get down there where the water spreads out, and it seems like it slows down somewhat. And the main thing is the wind. If the wind lets you fish it, you end up having a pretty good day down there. Got another caller here. You ready, Herschel? Hello, caller.
Yeah, hey, how's the Let's Go Fishing show doing?
Well, it's pretty good since you ain't here.
I figured they'd all be swamped to calling you in. I didn't know if I could even get through or not.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Yeah, Are you by yourself?
Yeah, I'm by myself here.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Brad Lockett's camera shy, ain't he?
Yeah, he's afraid he's going to have to put some makeup on, I believe.
Yeah, it might have been, he's afraid they'd see his picture there and notice the same ones down there at the post office on the FBI's Most Wanted.
Yeah, that's probably true, too.
Yeah. How's it going?
Well, going pretty good as long as Herschel can find enough commercials to show.
Oh, Lordy. Okay, I hope he shows that on the 4x4s down there and the bud shop and all that. Herschel will take care of you. He knows what to do. And how'd you do on your fishing film?
Well, we done pretty good there. It showed come out pretty good.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad that turned out good. I'll give you a little quick update on what we've done so far. We got to fish about 2 hours Sunday. Had 5 good smallmouth on the same place, one place. We stopped on the first place we stopped. We had 5 good smallmouth off of it. Had one probably between 5.5 and 6. And then let's see, Monday we couldn't fish. We tried to, we went out there Monday to fish, but we couldn't do it. The wind was blowing so hard you couldn't keep your bait on the bottom. So we came back in. Tuesday we had 5. Let's see, Wednesday we had 10, and I believe we had 6 Wednesday, 10 yesterday, and had 6 today. Been a real kind of what we're doing so far. We've got some good film, and we look forward to getting back next week. What's your plans?
Mine?
Yeah, when you leaving?
We may pull out here directly. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready to go?
I think I am.
You think you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't
Well,
forget.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said if I didn't forget something, I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul said he missed you.
Yeah, I know that.
And I appreciate you covering the show for me. Tell the viewers, I guess you already have where I'm at. Hope to be back next week and with some good fishing film. It's supposed to be a better day tomorrow. We're going to go out here and see if we can get on some more fish. And we've caught some pretty nice fish, some dandy largemouth. Coming out here, we've got, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 good largemouth along with the smallmouth we've caught. And so we're going to go back out here tomorrow. Saturday's supposed to be another good day. We're going to try them a couple more days and then get back towards the house.
Well, what happened down there 3 months ago? Everybody's hollering there wasn't no smallmouth in that lake.
Well, that's exactly what Bill is saying, that they've had 2 bad years out here, and from what we found out talking to some of the other fishermen, they say it's probably better right now than it has been in the last 2 or 3 years as far as the smallmouth go. And so we don't know what's created that or what's happened, but there's a lot of fish being caught out here right now. And this one guy's caught 267, I believe, since January the 1st.
Well,
smallmouth alone. And he's been fishing the lake 2 or 3 times a week. And coming back tomorrow, he said. So, it's the whole deal out here is right now, if you can just find a place out of the wind, you can usually get a bite. But, we're fishing 3/16 ounce baits and 6-pound line, and that wind sure does affect how you get the fish at.
sounds to me like you should have took a bucket of minnows and that drop rig down there on.
Well, that's kind of what we were thinking too, Mike. Yeah, we probably ought to have been rigging for crappie and hopefully caught bass, and I would say we probably would have caught a few.
Yeah, them minnows are dynamite on them fish.
Yeah, I know it. I know that's what you'd come up with, for sure. But I just wanted to tell the viewers, remember the sponsors, and glad I'm out here with these 2 guys checking this lake out. And it's been a while since I've been on Dale Holla, and that was just a few trips here and there. So we've got to run, travel quite a bit of the lake, and it's down, I'd say straight down, probably 8-10 feet. And, there's some stuff showing. We've even found some grass too, Mike, just waiting on the water to get up.
Yeah.
So, in that neighborhood. So, when it gets full, it'll be tough. Be real good fishing and that kind of thing. So maybe the weather will cooperate with us the next day or 2, and we can really get on them. We've got a pretty good idea of how deep they're located right now if we can just get our bait to them.
I understand that. That's about like the crappie fishing down there when you get out there in the middle of the lake to fish and that wind's blowing, it's rough to stay on anything.
Yeah, that's the way it is here. You're just fighting that wind, and at least down there you're using a 3/4 ounce sinker. We're just using a 3/16 ounce weight out here, and it's even harder to do.
Yeah, yes, sir. I can tell you that, it sure is.
Yeah. Well, you got your top water plugs ready for Florida, I guess.
Well, I got some in the box anyway.
Yeah. Well, listen, while I got you on the phone, if you do leave tonight or whenever you do leave, you be careful and give me a holler there whenever you get set settled in, and you stopping in Atlanta and picking up bread?
No, he said he wasn't going to be able to make it.
Wasn't going to be able to make it. Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. When you get done with the show, call this number. If Herschel will get back on the phone there, I'll give it to you right quick. It's Paul Harrison's number. Have you got it?
I think I wrote it down.
Okay. All right, then. Finish up the show, buddy. Appreciate you. Remember the sponsors, folks.
Okay.
All right. See you later.
Let's see. All right, folks, you heard him. Now, what's going on out there? He's out there trying to do a little damage to them smallmouth out there at Dale Holler. I know there's some nice ones in there. Just wish that lake wasn't so far out there. I'd probably be spending all my time on it if it was a lot closer. I know that. Sure is a beautiful lake. It's like North's, and there's some awful good fish in it. At least they used to be. What few trips we made out there in the past had some good times. It's like Center Hill, and that's another good lake out there. Some good smallmouth in it. Back a few years back, when we was fishing that smallmouth trail, we got to fish a bunch of that stuff. So, if you like that smallmouth fishing, it's hard to turn them kind of lakes down. Can we get that, Herschel? Hello, caller.
Hello, Mike. This is Wayne Melton. I'm the one called you about the Washington's Ferry Bridge.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you finding out about that. Have you ever put in down there?
No, not at that bridge, but I've been by it several times, but I never have put in there. I've seen that was a nice ramp stuff they had there.
Okay. Well, we're just we've been putting in down at Dayton. We're just trying to find something up closer, but anyway, I appreciate you finding out that and enjoy watching you catching them.
Yeah. I think at the other side of the lake over there, there's a couple of places to put in over there. Cottonport area right there, below the bridge. I think there's some of them puts in there.
Okay. All right. I'll drive by there and check on that. Thank you a lot.
Okay, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye.
Let's see. Appreciate it. Okay. Like I say, folks, if you like that smallmouth fishing, Center Hill's a good lake to check out. And besides Dale Holler and North, there's several good smallmouth in Cherokee. There's beginning to be a lot more of them up at Douglas, but a lot of people, because they ain't clear lakes like them are, or deep reservoirs, kind of overlook Loudon and Watch Bar, and there's a heck of a lot of good smallmouth in them lakes too, but they ain't got, at least noted for the number of smallmouth that's in the other lakes, where you may catch 10 smallmouth to one largemouth in North. But if you fish for smallmouth at Watch Bar or Loudon, you can do real good if that's the type of fishing you want to do. But, to me, ain't nothing fights any better than a smallmouth. He may not be but 2 pounds, but he thinks he's 20 pounds. I like them largemouth at times when they're hitting good. But I'd rather catch that smallmouth 2 to 1. Steve's the same way. Can't get him off North half the time. He got smallmouth on the brain, I believe. But anyway, I was kind of shocked that he enjoyed the crappie fishing we done there the other week. And he was kind of shocked to find out that them fish was out there that deep. I hope him and Bill have a successful day tomorrow and the rest of the week. And maybe he'll bring us back some good film on some big smallmouth. I know he'll be ready to go back up north and try what he figured out there and see if it works up north. It usually does. It's like he was telling me there the other night on the phone, some of the baits that he'd been throwing at north seemed to catch a few fish out there too. So it ain't completely different. There's about the same all the way around about every lake you go to. It's just matching up where the fish is at and what they want. Time of year it is. It won't be long, though. It's just a few weeks, a month or so away here, and it'll be breaking springtime again, and everybody be on the lake trying to find them fish. Matter of fact, he was talking about telling everybody about this one at Kingston City Park, May the 23rd. That's the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital tournament they're going to have down at Kingston City Park. I want to remind everybody about that, the second annual. That's a good thing there. They're trying to raise money for St. Jude's. Just ain't no way you can get any better than helping that bunch out. As far as I'm concerned, what they do for the kids and everything. We sure owe a lot to that bunch. Danny Thomas's bunch there, that's a real good thing he got started down there. See, they had some more tournament schedules here. Volunteer Bass Trail scheduled for 2015. March the 14th is their first, and that's on Loudon and Tellico. And, it's almost a few more days here. It'll be the middle of February, and that only gives you 3 or 4 weeks to get ready for the Loudon Tellico tournament if you're going to fish that on March the 14th. Of course, these other schedules goes down April, May, June, July, skipping different lakes, North, Douglas, Watch Bar, and Chickamauga and stuff. But, the first, and anyway, I'm sure James has got these flyers out everywhere on their tournament schedule and paybacks and all that stuff. I know for sure he's got some down at Reynolds Racing Marine if you want to go by there and pick you up on. I think the Heartland deal, I'm seeing here, got one up here at North on February the 28th. That ain't going to be just a couple of weeks away, and then the first one on Watch Bar is February the 28th, Division 2. So that's a couple of weeks away. Mostly all of them seem to be starting about that time on some of the other lakes. But if you want to get into the Heartland, I'd say you better be getting your hook sharp and your new lines on and your boat motors ready, because it's on us already. And, winter's awful short when you get to thinking about it. Of course, a lot of them said summer was awful short, but anyway, we can't have springtime all the time, so fellas need to check your equipment out. And with the officers we had here last weekend talking about the fishing license increase, I think he said June or July. He said, I asked him the question, I said, well, now, these licenses I've got now expire at the end of February. I said, when I buy the new license for 15, is that going to have an increase on that? He said, no, if you buy them now, you're going to get them at the same price. But after June or July, when the increase goes in effect, if you buy them, then it'll be on there. But them licenses will be good all the way till next year on February the 28th or something, whenever the month ends. But anyway, I asked him about boat registration. He said he didn't know anything on that yet, on whether they was going to try to go up on boat registration, but more than likely it would get something out and let everybody know what was going on that. But, if they go up on boat registration, I assume it'll probably be like the fishing license. If you've done got registered for 3 years, then you're good till it expires, and then once that expires, a new registration. If you want to extend your boat registration for 3 more years, there'll be a raise in it, you know. So anyway, the state's looking to raise money to pick up on a lot of things, and mainly try to give these officers a little bit of a raise and help things out, like the docks and different things like that. Steve talked about that, so you know, we still got to get a lot of people to complain and raise Cain. Maybe we can get some docks put in a few of these places. You got it, Herschel? Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, well, you know, I hear your TV in the background there. You got an echo.
Yeah, I think I got it turned off now. I thought I had it turned off.
Yeah, oh, Willie.
This is Willie.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing those cards by here.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
Thank you for the information on the license.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard anything about that. So, on those boards there,
Yeah.
my buddy had measured a crappie over here. It's been 4 or 5 years ago. But he measured his crappie, like you said. He measured it on a ruler, and it measured. Well, the game warden come down there, and he said it looked like a short fish, so he took the cup there. And when he measured it with a cup, it was about a 1/16 of an inch short.
Yeah.
And he charged him $168
Mm-hmm. Yes,
for
sir.
that one fish. So, you know, like they said, they should measure it with whatever you measure it with.
That's right. That's what he said.
But he took and didn't measure it with what my buddy measured it with. He measured it with the cup. And it cost my buddy $168. So now I take the cup with me wherever I go, and that's what I measure them with. And if they're even close, I throw them back, because it's not worth $168 for that one fish.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, if they don't come over that line pretty good there, just chunk them back and not take no chance on it.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Well, I'm glad to hear Steve and them catching some fish up there.
Yeah. Hear that.
I've been under the weather. I went to the doctor yesterday, and he said I had the flu, so I've been down for the last few days.
Yeah, that's terrible, Willie. It's been much work as you had to do.
Yeah, and if any of my customers are listening, I hope they stay away till I get feeling better, because I don't want to talk to them or see them till I get over this, because I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Yeah, I hear that. Well,
I'll let you go. Like I said again, thank you and you have a safe trip.
Yep.
And look forward to seeing you next week.
Well, I'm going to send Steve down to your place just as soon as he gets back here.
Do what?
I said, I'm going to send Steve down to see you just as soon as he gets back in town.
No, don't do that. All right, you have a good one.
Okay, well. We'll see you then. All right. Yeah, Steve, he'd appreciate that. I know. All right, Herschel. I'm telling you, he said we had 9 minutes, so if there's anything else you fellas want to call in, we'll talk about. Be glad to do it. Like I say, if these boards is, they need to make some kind of standard call, but I don't know that all the manufacturers would agree with them, but an inch is an inch. Any way you go at it, when you get a micrometer out there, it's about a lot of difference. Hello, caller.
Yes. Is this Mike Cox?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Mike Cox, we just wanting to let you know that we appreciate what you and Steve's doing and all the good information you're giving these fishermen around here. And keep up the good work. And this is your son-in-law.
Yeah.
And I was bragging about you making them. I know you tried to explain to me there last night, but I was explaining to people how you was making those rigs up there last night. That kind of blew my mind. Can you kind of tell the callers what you was doing there, Mike?
Well, I just fooling around with some different variations of the A-rig, as they call it, Tennessee rig, whatever you want to call it there. Just seeing how many baits you could actually get on there, whether it's going to work or not, and whether it's better with the dummy baits or whether you're better off to use the spinners on there, because I know some of them's putting 3 and 4 spinners on each wire. It's just some experimenting with them, just trying to see what it'll come out with. I know D. Wilson and some of the other guys are doing the same thing. Mr. Tifton down here that making them, he had a bunch of them over at the show, and there's a lot of fellas fooling with them, just like they do crankbaits and stuff like that when they first come out. And everybody got into making them, and everybody had a different way of doing it, and then they started experimenting with them and seeing who could make one that would run deeper, and then the next guy makes one that runs even deeper than that, and then, and putting bigger bills on them and different things, and kind of, used to be like a top water plug. They had anywhere from 1 inch to 6/8 inch top water plugs. See how many hooks you needed on it. It's all the time experimenting with about anything you fish with.
Right. Are they a limit, Mike, to what the grubs or whatever you're using on there? Say you have 5 different ones or 5, say you're using 5 to 6. You was explaining to me, ain't there a limit of how many hooks you can put on that rig?
Yeah. The state of Tennessee don't allow but 3 hooks. Alabama, I think they let them get by with 5 or whatever, but state of Tennessee just lets you put 3 hooks. Now, you can, as far as I know, run as many spinners or as many dummies as you want on a bait, but 3 hooks is the maximum. And, but, don't really make sense in a lot of ways, because you turn around and you throw a dang jerk bait with 3 hooks on it, or a top water plug, and they got 3 sets of treble hooks on there, and you're looking at 9 hooks on that. So
Yeah, I was talking to this guy today that he just more or less tied them up 5 deep on his line there and running lead heads, and every lead head had a hook on it, and I was trying to explain to him how he was making those rigs up yourself, and he was asking me why would there be any difference of you putting 3 or 4 grubs in the hook, whether you had the rig, with say you had 5 on there and could just use 3 hooks.
Yeah.
And I couldn't answer that question for him.
Yeah, you have to get the state regulations out, because it's a new type bait. The state started out where you wasn't allowed but 3 wires. Well, then they turned around and changed that and said, no, you can use a 5 wire, but you can't have but 3 hooks on it. So I don't know.
So that don't matter if say you got and you're tying 4 lead heads on there, and say you're using chartreuse grubs, and each lead head has a hook. So it seems like to me, if you're running 4 and 5 lures on there, each one of those lead heads has a hook. Well, that's what I was trying to explain to them there. Is just the variations of what rigging unit you're using, and I was trying to explain that to them today, and they didn't really get it. And I think that's what the problem is with a lot of people with the regulations or how many hooks that you can put into each grub, I guess you would say, or worm, or however you would want to rig it up.
Yeah, it's like a trot line. You're allowed 50 hooks on a trot line. Well, I don't know if you can put 50 hooks on your daggone time on your line and drop them down and fish with it, but how the state comes up with all these different regulations and stuff and figuring these different baits, I don't know, but I reckon they thought that A-rig was going to catch every fish in the lake, and they was going to have to do something to slow it down, so that's the reason they come up with 3 wires and 3 hooks, and then they changed their mind and said, well, you can go ahead, and because they started out, I think they was calling the head a hook, or a bait, and the spinner's a bait, so time you got one head and one spinner on there, you only had one hook behind it, so it's counting everything.
I hope you cleared it up a little bit. I just got to answer those questions I was trying to explain there. I saw you building them last night, and I was trying to explain it to some people today, and I really didn't know too much what to talk about. That's why I called in, and I told them to listen tonight. But I appreciate what y'all are doing, and you're all doing a fine job.
Yeah, appreciate it. Main thing for them to do, if there's any questions, is to, get the book that the state puts out. They're free at most of the sports places, and read that book. It'll tell you in there when you start talking about different things like that, and give you the regulations on each thing. And
yeah, because this guy was talking about, of course, he was fishing for crappie and everything, and he's like, he would put chartreuse grub up there and run 4 or 5 lead heads with the hooks in it.
Oh yeah.
And and I was like, oh well, I know they made regulations on how many hooks you can do it, but I think it's just determined of what kind of unit you've got it rigged up on.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I appreciate your information.
Okay,
well. Y'all have a good night.
All right, thank you. All right, folks. Maybe that'll help some of you out anyway on what the state does, but they got a lot of good information in that book that they put out, not only on the fishing and hunting and what's legal and the limits and different things on different lakes. It's like North, and they break it up to where you ain't allowed but 2 smallmouth at some times, and then 5 at other times, and the length changes and stuff like that. And so, you got to be aware of what you're doing on each lake around here, because what might be good down here ain't no good up there. So, anyway, you have a good evening, and it's been nice to be here, and God bless you. Maybe Steve will take care of you next week.